Oh, it's Drake on his phone for just an instant, alongside basketball czar of the Raptors.
Drake just found out the hard way. Kendrick Lamar is the last person you want to start a rap war with. Because if there's one thing about Kendrick, it's that he's got a level of pettiness that's unmatched in the industry. As if dropping a scathing diss track wasn't enough, he won 5 Grammys for Not Like Us, a song that ripped Drake apart bar by bar. But Kendrick wasn't done there. Oh no. He took the disrespect to another level by performing the song at the Super Bowl. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse for Drake, Kendrick brought out none other than Serena Williams, Drake's ex, to hit the crip walk while he annihilated him in front of millions. And let me tell you, that performance had everybody shook. The crowd, the internet, even celebs watching from home, gagged. But you know who wasn't gagged? Drake. Because instead of taking the L and keeping it pushing, he crashed out in the most spectacular way possible.
Oh, it's Drake on his phone for just an instant, alongside basketball czar of the Raptors.
It was clear that seeing his ex dancing on stage during Kendrick's diss track sent him into a spiral. And now? He's back on social media, talking spicy and making it very clear, this beef ain't over. But is he really about to drop another diss track? And more importantly, how did Kendrick even convince Serena to hop on stage and shade Drake like that? Let's get into it. First off, let's be real. It probably wasn't hard at all for Kendrick to get Serena to do this. Because let's be honest, she cannot stand Drake. I wouldn't be surprised if she was the one who hit Kendrick up and asked to be part of the performance. And if you think she hasn't been waiting for this moment, think again. This ain't even the first time she's danced to Not Like Us. Remember when she randomly hit the crip walk at the ESPs last year? That moment had nothing to do with Kendrick or Drake, but she still slid it in. If that's not shade, I don't know what is. But what really went down between Serena and Drake that made her hate him this much? Because, for those who don't know, Drake and Serena were actually a thing back in the day. And when it all fell apart, Drake didn't just take the breakup like a normal person. Oh no, he made it his personal mission to embarrass her as badly as he could. Drake's pattern of crashing out over women who reject him? Oh, that's nothing new. This man has a disturbing track record of holding grudges for years and throwing shade at exes who have long since moved on. And when it comes to women in the industry, his behavior is even worse. Let's talk about Rihanna, because if there's anyone who should have been off his radar by now, it's her. Yet, instead of moving on like a grown man, Drake has spent years taking sneaky jabs at her and her relationship with A$AP Rocky. And for what? Rihanna hasn't given him a second of her attention since they split. She's out here building an empire, living her best life with her family, while Drake is still lurking in the background like an ex who just can't take a hint. You'd think he'd finally get the memo, but nope, he just won't let it go. And the obsession doesn't stop with Rihanna. Let's not forget the cringe fest that was his situation with Halle Berry. For years, he was out here gushing over her, making it painfully obvious that he was into her. Interviews, social media, lyrics, he made sure everybody knew. But the problem? Halle never gave him the time of day. She never entertained it, never hinted at being interested. Nothing. And instead of taking the L with some dignity, Drake did what he always does. He got weird about it. And the way he handled Halle's pregnancy news? Straight up embarrassing. Instead of just saying congratulations like a normal person, he saw it as another chance to insert himself into the narrative. Like, why? The woman's living her life, expecting a baby, and here comes Drake making unnecessary remarks yet again. But, oh, he didn't stop there. No. Drake took it a step further and actually name-dropped Halle Berry in multiple songs, and not in a way that could be taken as a compliment. If anything, it was borderline unsettling. One of the worst examples? His verse on Migos' Versace remix, where he rapped, "Take a famous girl out where there's no paparazzi? I'm trying to give Halle Berry a baby and no one can see." Excuse me? Halle never acknowledged this nonsense, but the fact that Drake thought this was okay to rap about just proves everything. He refuses to take no for an answer. If that doesn't scream obsessive, I don't know what does. This wasn't some playful little crush, and it definitely wasn't charming. It was just straight up weird. Halle Berry had never once entertained Drake, never hinted at being interested, yet here he was, publicly fantasizing about her, like he had some kind of claim over her. And just when you think it couldn't get creepier, Drake took things a step further in the most bizarre way. Instead of letting it go, he decided to use a picture of Halle Berry as the cover art for his song with SZA from his album For All the Dogs. And not just any picture. He chose a throwback photo of Halle getting slimed at the 2012 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Like, what even was the thought process here? Instead of picking an image that actually fit the song's vibe, he went out of his way to use this? But here's where it gets even worse. Halle had already told him not to use it. That's right. He actually reached out to her beforehand, and when she explicitly said no, he went ahead and used it anyway. Disrespectful doesn't even begin to cover it. And what's even wilder? This isn't the first time Drake has pulled something like this with a woman who moved on from him. Yep, he did the exact same thing to Serena Williams, and that's a huge reason why she cannot stand him. Because if there's one thing about Drake, he has a serious issue with women moving on. And Serena didn't just move on. She's married with 2 kids and living her best life. But that didn't stop him from trying to insert himself into her story yet again. So what exactly did Drake do to Serena? Oh, this one's messy. Last year, out of nowhere, Drake randomly dropped a massive 100 gigabyte stash of content on a mysterious site called 100gigs.org. And how did he announce it? Not through his official platforms, not even through his main Instagram, but through his secret burner account called Plot Twist. This account had been lurking in the background, getting updates since late June, and suddenly, boom, he releases a gold mine of unreleased material. And this wasn't just some collection of files. This was a treasure trove, hidden tracks, unseen footage, and collabs with artists like Young Thug, 21 Savage, and Latto. But buried in that pile of content? Some shady stuff about Serena, proving once again that Drake just cannot let go of the past. But that? Oh, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Fans who dug through the 100 gigabyte treasure trove didn't just find unreleased music, they got an extremely rare peek into Drake's creative process. This stash included never-before-seen footage of him crafting some of his most iconic albums, including Take Care, Views, and Certified Lover Boy. And if that wasn't enough, the collection featured exclusive behind-the-scenes moments with some of the biggest names in the industry: Jay-Z, Kanye West, Rihanna, and Cameron, along with clips of Drake's inner circle, giving fans an unfiltered look at the people who have been with him through his come-up. Now, we may never know the real reason why Drake suddenly decided to dump this massive archive out of nowhere. But the word on the street? It was all a strategic distraction. A last-ditch attempt to shift attention away from the absolute chaos that was his feud with Kendrick Lamar. If that was his plan, though, yeah, it completely backfired. Instead of pulling focus away, the drama with Kendrick only got worse. Fans barely blinked at the archive drop because the Kendrick versus Drake war was all anyone cared about. This so-called diversion, a total flop. But hold up, because there's more. As if dropping 100 gigabytes of content wasn't chaotic enough, Drake just had to sneak in some extra tea.
Having relationships, everything's going to be very light. Not going to get like heavily into things.
No, I get heavy on a couple joints, but this is more about me and Serena, so I
gathered that.
But I wanted to make a song.
But you don't want it to be
Well, it's funny because when I make songs about women, I also make songs for them, so I know what kind of song to make. If I'm going to talk about them, I'll at least do them the justice of making them a song that they like.
Yeah.
Okay? So I know Serena very well, and I know that she'll hear it loud and clear, but she'll also not hate me for it because it's lighthearted, you know?
And she is seeing someone else.
I don't know, Mom.
Hidden in all that footage was a clip of him working on Too Good with Rihanna. And that's where things got real interesting. Because in the footage, Drake casually drops a bombshell. He admits that the song wasn't even about Rihanna. Nope. Turns out it was actually about his other ex, Serena Williams. And the funniest part? He wasn't spilling this tea to some industry exec or one of his rapper friends. He was just casually telling his mom, Sandra, like it was no big deal. Imagine sitting there, working on music, and out of nowhere just dropping that revelation to your mom. The audacity. So what was that all about? Let's take it back for a second, because this Drake and Serena saga has been brewing for over a decade. Way back in 2010, the rumor mill was buzzing about a possible romance between Drake and Serena Williams. But much like Rihanna, Serena never actually claimed him. She kept things low-key, never confirmed or denied anything, while Drake, as usual, was out here acting like a lovesick puppy. Fast forward to today. Serena is happily married to Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian, and they've built a beautiful life together with their 2 daughters. She's thriving, she's winning, and most importantly, she's moved on. But you remember how I said Drake has a bad habit of flipping the script whenever a woman doesn't want him? Yeah, Serena wasn't an exception. For years, Drake was so over-the-top obsessed with her that even GQ magazine couldn't ignore it. They straight up called him Serena's most embarrassing groupie. And honestly, they weren't wrong. This man was shamelessly out here doing the most, fawning over her in interviews, pulling up to her matches, acting like he was the one when Serena had never given him that title. But the moment Serena made it official with Alexis, oh, Drake's energy completely shifted. Instead of just moving on like a grown man, he decided to be petty. He didn't just take the L, he took a jab at Alexis, calling him the groupie, as if he hadn't spent years being Serena's biggest, most embarrassing fan. And of course, he did it through a song. In Middle of the Ocean, off his collab album, Her Loss with 21 Savage, Drake rapped, "Serena, your husband, a groupie. He claimed we don't got a problem, but no, boo. It's like you coming for sushi." The irony? This man spent years thirsting after Serena, getting curved, and now he's calling her husband a groupie? The audacity! Alexis Ohanian! Oh, he handled Drake's shade like a true champ. Instead of getting messy, he hit him with the classiest clapback possible, and it stung! He posted a photo of himself and his daughter Olympia at one of Serena's matches and captioned it, "The reason I stay winning is because I'm relentless about being the absolute best at whatever I do, including being the best groupie for my wife and daughter." Whew, talk about a mic drop moment. Instead of getting into a petty back and forth, Alexis owned the title Drake tried to use as an insult and turned it into pure gold. But then, things got even messier. When Drake posted that random video of him talking about Serena with his mom, fans didn't need long to connect the dots. It was clearly his way of responding to Serena Kripp walking to Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. He thought he was slick, flooding social media with random posts, trying to bury the real reason behind the clip. But let's be real. He wasn't nearly as sneaky as he thought. Fans clocked it immediately and called him out. Now, Serena? She's too classy to go back and forth with him. She wasn't about to post a response, drop a diss track, or feed into the drama. But make no mistake, she got her lick back. Because when she hit that Super Bowl stage and Kripp walked to Kendrick's Drake diss, she made her stance very clear. And here's the wildest part. She didn't even get paid for it. Because, as most people know, artists don't get paid for performing at the Super Bowl. She was out there purely for the petty satisfaction of dancing all over Drake's ego. And guess who was not happy about it? Drake. Dude was fuming! And he didn't even try to hide it. During his Melbourne concert just days after the Super Bowl, he took things a step further, switching up the lyrics to his song Night Talk to send a clear message. Beef is live, spoiler alert, Oh, he's big mad. Drake is furious over this, and honestly, who can blame him? Kendrick and Serena just hit him with the ultimate level of disrespect, and the internet is loving every second of it. Fans wasted no time calling out just how poetic this moment was. One comment summed it up perfectly. Kendrick bringing out Serena Williams to crip walk after Drake spent years stalking that woman and obsessively throwing shots at her for turning him down? Absolute chaos, and I love it. Another fan didn't hold back either. I take it back. Serena Williams doing a crip walk on Drake's career was the best thing I've ever seen. And the sentiment was clear. This was Serena's revenge. Drake spent years obsessing over Serena, throwing shade, making weird comments, and now? She got the last laugh. This is her retribution. This is her peace. But now the real question is, did Kendrick take things too far by bringing Serena into this? Or was this exactly what Drake deserved? Let's hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next one.